Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am gonna make the first of probably a series of videos where I try to help teach you how to start getting into real food, what I like to call real food. What I mean by real food is food that we don't buy in the store that's already been processed and has ingredients that we may not be familiar with, and if we were, we probably wouldn't really like those ingredients. And one of the most basic things that we buy from the store that is very, very processed and does not have the best ingredients in the store unless you get like a really expensive, or I really haven't even found any that hasn't had unnecessary ingredients in it, but that would be salad dressing. And it's a really common one that we go out and buy, but it's also really easy to make your own salad dressing. So that's why in today's video I'm going to be making with you 3 salad dressings. I tried to go with the ones I thought would be the most commonly used, or at least some of the most commonly used, but there's tons and tons of recipes online, and this is a great place to start when switching over to trying to be a more mindful person when it comes to what kinds of things you are eating and getting into making things from scratch and just eating some real food. So I think this is a good place to start. The ones I've decided to make with you today are Italian, ranch, and Caesar. So let's start with how to make a homemade Italian dressing. These recipes, of course, can be doubled, tripled, whatever you need for however much dressing you need. So I'm starting with just a glass container, and for Italian we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, 2 teaspoons of mustard powder, and I'm not, being exact, I'm just kind of roughly doing that. Then a teaspoon of sugar. You can use a cane sugar. I have an unbleached cane sugar. You could use maple syrup, whatever you'd like. A half teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm also going to do a half teaspoon of thyme, a half teaspoon of basil, and a half teaspoon of oregano. Now I'm going to do a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and I'm just going to do a little bit of turmeric, not a whole lot. Not even a 1/4 of a teaspoon. Now I'm adding 6 tablespoons of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, I would also recommend avocado. That's what it looks like. I'm going to put the cover, make sure it's nice and shut, and just give it a good shake. Let's give it a little taste to make sure it's just how we want it. Yes, that's very good. Very good. If you're used to more sugar, because they do tend to put quite a bit of sugar in the ones you get from the store, you can always add more sugar to make it a little sweeter. That's completely up to you. But this is a excellent Italian dressing that took me literally 2 minutes to throw together, and all ingredients that I know exactly what it is and that it's great. Alright, let's move on to our ranch dressing. Our next recipe is going to be our homemade ranch. You're going to want to start with about a 1/2 cup of a plain yogurt and a 1/4 cup mayonnaise. Now, you can run into the same issues as why we're making our homemade salad dressing in the first place if you just go to the store and get any old yogurt or mayonnaise. Real mayo does not mean that it is really that real of mayo. Mayonnaise is something that is also super easy to make homemade, and yogurt can be made homemade fairly easily as well. So you can look into that. Maybe that'll be a future video. But you just start with those 2 ingredients, whether you source them from your homemade stock of it, or if you find a really good brand in the store. So I'm going to mix that all up. I'm going to add a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar this time. You want a half teaspoon of dill, onion, and garlic powder. And then last, you just want a 1/4 teaspoon of both salt and pepper. Now we're going to mix this all up. It smells so good. That ranch is incredible. 10 out of 10. So this is a great recipe, and it makes a considerable amount, about that much is full. So that was so easy. Let's move on to the very last salad dressing recipe for the day. So to end things off, we're going to make our homemade Caesar dressing. And this starts out with a 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt this time, and a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, again, like our last recipe. Again, homemade is always the way to go if you can. And a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Now when thinking about cheese, what you really need to think about the most is that pre-shredded, so cheese you buy that's already shredded, has stuff in it to keep it from sticking together. So that is an additive that is added. So when looking to get something that's less processed, you'll want to go for block cheeses and then shred them yourselves. So when we have those 3 ingredients in there, I'm just going to give it a good mix with my spoon. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of olive oil, a 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of both salt and pepper. And I'm going to give this a good mix. And taste test. Now I'm so excited to have a salad, but I want to use all of them. And there you have it. We have our Italian dressing, our ranch dressing, and our Caesar dressing, all made up in literally 10 minutes or less. Super easy. And it made a good amount of all of them too. Like, this would get you a couple salads for sure. 3 or 4, I'd say at least. And all of these will last in your fridge for at least up to 2 weeks, possibly far beyond that, but for sure up to 2 weeks. This is just the beginning of your real food journey, and I hope that showing you how easy it is to make some of these basic essentials that you usually buy in the store, when I show you that it is such an easy process to make it so that you really know what is in your ingredients of your food, I hope I can help inspire you to continue forth on to really discovering what you want food to mean to you and what you want to put in your body, and there will be more where that came from. So let me know anything else you might want to see a homemade version of, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Okay, goodbye.